One of the key points that we want to really be able to communicate that the church can be able to bring to schools in conjunction with nonprofits is really setting your expectations beyond just servicing the school. Working as a nonprofit provider, we deliver plenty of services, whether it's after-school program care, enrichment, sports, but one of the things that we're learning is that the aspect of community building and being able to developing genuine friendships is something that is almost a lost art. And I think that what volunteers and churches can bring to these schools is the ability to actually cultivate natural friendships, because if you think about the whole day, the kids are being served with academics, they're getting programming, and after a while, you can get kind of programmed out. And so I think it's really important for Christians and volunteers alike to really begin to kind of set their mind beyond just servicing, but also setting aside time to say, you know what, I want to make friendships also with the people. And what that involves is something that is not programmed. And so, for example, my wife and I, we have the after-school program, we serve at the schools, but something that we're really mindful and being intentional about is just having dinner with some of the families. And what that really allows us to be able to do is really to begin to develop trust outside of the school environment. And I think most educators will tell you that, community building is a piece that is important, being able to cultivate relationships with community because it provides infrastructure for these families to be supported. It's easy to talk about, but it's so much harder to do, right? And so Christians have that opportunity to do that. And, just kind of addressing the elephant in the room, we know that in schools, it is a public space, and it is a space in which we're going to be respectful of being able to share religion during that programmed time and space. And so I think for Christians who are kind of thinking about, how does Jesus come into this? Well, Jesus is coming into this as we're serving, as Jesus is making himself apparent on the school campus through our actions and through our lives. But when it comes to actually sharing about who he is, that's not going to happen during those times. So you as Christians, we need to be thinking about where can that time really take place? And then at what point are people really going to be receptive to you, right? And so it's really going to be in the context of friendships. And as many of the speakers have pointed out, we come in without an agenda. The agenda is to love, right? But when people are ready to receive that message, that is up to them. And especially when it comes to working with kids, like Priscilla and I, my wife, we are very mindful of, we've developed a lot of relationships with families and kids, but we are not going to intentionally talk to the kids about Jesus without the permission of the parents. Because parents are, they're the ones who are overseeing their children, and we want to be mindful of the authority that God has given to them to take care of the kids. And so our focus is much more geared towards, how do we serve the whole family? And how do we make generational change? And so when we kind of begin with that type of mindset of thinking generational change, but not only thinking about service, but also really developing friendships, I think that's really where the volunteer can really make a tremendous impact.